This is the Orioles POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Baltimore Orioles. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
The Orioles are just like the Mafia. Just when you think you're out, they pull you back in. Happy September. How are the Ravens doing? Final score tonight on this Tuesday evening. The Baltimore Orioles 3 and the Pittsburgh Pirates 2. This is the Orioles Postcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Luke Slaybaugh. I'll be your host for every Orioles post-game show here in 2025. Going up against a Pittsburgh Pirates team that's got good pitching. It's just 2.5 games worse than the O's have performed this year. Go ahead, let me know your player of the game. Should be an obvious one, as Samuel Basallo continues his streak of clutch hitting, snapping an 0 for 4 tonight with an unconventional walk-off single. If you're new here, tuning in for the first time on YouTube, hey, Locked On Orioles. I am the post-game show host, Connor Newcomb, 5 days a week. There's a good comment section, good community there that's been following us all season long. Let me know where you're watching from and your thoughts on tonight's game. I'd like to chop it up there in the comments section. And tonight, we have a third consecutive walk-off win for the O's. 2 in the series against the Dodgers, a loss on Sunday, and now 1 to open up the series against the Bucks. Let's review.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Bottom 11, this game going into extra innings, 2 extra innings for reasons that we will discuss later in the show. Right-hander Dari Moreta on the mound for Pittsburgh. Gunnar Henderson, the automatic runner, starting the 11th at second base. Ryan Mountcastle pounces on the first pitch he sees. Amazing. Good recognition of fastball out of the hand. High and away at 93, pokes it up the middle. Gunnar Henderson playing it safe. There's no outs. He takes a stagger step towards second base to make sure he doesn't get picked off on a double play or a line out. It was a good move. You got runners at the corners there. Moreta and the Pirates decide they don't want to face Colton Cowser. Strange with no outs in the inning and such a strikeout opportunist that Cowser is. Poor pitch recognition out of the All-Star break. They intentionally put Cowser on. However, they do set up a force at any base. Leave it to the rookie, Samuel Basallo, who had a walk-off home run this past weekend in an incredibly magical series. 1-2 count. And as per the scouting report, Moreta is pounding Basallo high and in. He's going high heat, 95 mile an hour, 4-seam fastball, and Basallo can't catch up to it. He gets okay wood on it, but just pokes it tailing foul. Kind of a soft line drive, kind of floating out there towards the left field line. Tommy Pham, who sent this game to extra innings in the top of the ninth thanks to his home run, is hunting this down. It's a bang-bang play there. It's borderline. If he catches it in foul territory, Gunnar can tag up and score. If he doesn't catch the ball, it could land fair or foul. And he lands somewhere in the middle. He gets a glove on it as the ball tails down. And he slides. And the ball lands in foul territory. The call on the field from the naked eye is foul. And then the crew chief review happens. The umpires decide to give it a look. It's an any way goes type of play. The Orioles have already had a successful challenge in the game. And after video review, one of the more unconventional walk-offs you'll see. Call on the field is overturned. Pham's glove touched the ball in fair territory as it was tailing foul. But since he touched it in fair territory and it lands safely, it is an automatic single for Basallo. He takes first, and everyone moves up a base. Gunnar Henderson scores, and that is your final. 3-2 here on this Tuesday night. Incredible. He's got the clutch gene. Samuel Basallo might not be putting up amazing numbers. There's going to be swing and miss to his game as he adjusts to the major leagues. He's also taken on a big burden with Adley Rutschman on the IL. There's been a running gag on this channel in the comment section about the Adley farewell tour. Well, he hasn't played in quite a while. So Basallo's got a lot on his plate, and he's hitting .203 so far in his short tenure in the big leagues. Unfortunately, it spoils what could have been a really good win for right-hander Kyle Bradish in his third start off the injured list. And we got to talk about Totally Kyle.
This is what you'll be talking about.
I hope that reference isn't lost on you. The Amanda Show, back with Drake Bell, one of the celebrities who actually called my house when I was a child, not for the reasons you're thinking. The longest outing for Kyle Bradish since May 26th of last year at Chicago against the White Sox. You'll recall a year ago he had 7 no-hit innings, but was well over 100 pitches down at Rate Field. And the key to Kyle Bradish in the first and third starts of his comeback from the injured list and Tommy John surgery is how efficient he's been. If it were not for the middle innings, particularly the fifth and the sixth, the leash would have been pulled quite a bit early. We've talked about this ad nauseum that the goal for Kyle Bradish, Tyler Wells, and the rotation, get out of this puppy healthy. And in the fifth and the sixth, it's 7 and 6 pitches back to back, excuse me. 1, 2, 3 innings in both of those, able to bait those Pirates hitters who don't hit for much power and are struggling quite a bit this season. Lowest home run total in the bigs. But he's baiting them with each of his key out pitches, the two-seamer and the slider and the curve. Nails. And he starts off the outing relatively well. Strikes out Jared Triolo on a slider low. Unfortunately, it's the Timonium native Spencer Horwitz who grabs a first pitch heater from Bradish, hits it into right center field, gets a double. Brian Reynolds then walks on 4 pitches, and after a Tommy Pham flyout in foul territory, Andrew McCutchen, getting on top of a curveball that's high in the zone, hits it through the left side for an RBI single, makes it 1-0 Pirates. And that's all the damage that Bradish would give up. This was a heck of a good outing. And he's picked up in the bottom of the first. Ryan Mountcastle hits a sac fly. So he's pitching in a tie game for the next 6 frames and does a heck of a job. Strikes out Henry Davis in the second on a slider, getting Cam Devaney on the two-seamer. Brian Reynolds on the four-seamer there in the top of the third. Runs into a bit of a trouble, gives up some traffic there in the top of the fourth. Walks Tommy Pham, gives up a single to O'Neill Cruz, and is able to work his way out of it, eventually getting Davis to ground out to Gunnar on a broken bat ground ball. He has those 2 efficient innings in the fifth and the sixth. And then in the top of the seventh is still dealing. Gets O'Neill Cruz to strike out on a two-seamer outside. And then Henry Davis looking. That two-seamer with some great break on it and some spin. Outer middle of the plate just freezes him. So the final line for Kyle Bradish tonight, 7 innings of 1-run ball, only 4 hits given up, that 1 run given up in the first, 2 walks and 6 strikeouts. Through 17 innings, Kyle Bradish's whip, walks and hits per innings pitch is 0.94. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Coming up, let's talk about blown saves. Let's talk about just the season that could have been for the Orioles. We'll make it really tight, like super tight. And then some love to one of the best surprises of the Orioles this season. I'm talking about one Jeremiah Jackson. And I think he's got a future in this game, don't you think? It's the Orioles postcast. Stick with us. They don't tell you that 500 milligrams of caffeine is bad for you, but they do tell you that there's nothing like catching a baseball game live. If you were there tonight at Camden Yards, let me know. I would love to dice it up with you here in the comment section. Game Time is all about getting you to that game in time for a good deal. It's tough with surprise fees and all the nonsense you have to go through the apps. Where are we at in society today? Where are we at? Game Time is going to give you the advantage. Back to the fans. 100% authentic tickets delivered on time, best price. Fees are included, so the price you see is the price you pay. I love zone deals. You pick the section, Game Time picks the seats, and then you end up saving money big time. This is good for games. It's good for concerts. Game Time is really ramping up the promotions. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Gametime today. Big shout out to our friends at Monarch Money. They're with us through thick and through thin, and trust me, it got thick tonight. And most people can't name all their financial accounts, 401ks, properties, investments. Some of us, and I'm not naming names in the comment section, some of us are still trying to figure out what happened to the 401k from Knoxville, Tennessee. Certain people who will go unnamed. And Monarch Money will help that unnamed person out, anonymous person out, all in one personal finance tool that brings everything together in one easy interface. It's built for busy people with busy lives. And if you put off organizing your finances, if you haven't gotten your life together at 31, get on Monarch now. You can identify that you aren't saving as much as you thought. Monarch helps you notice an inefficient investment allocation and discover forgotten 401ks from past jobs. Who'd have thought? Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONMLB. Thanks to Monarch Money for sponsoring this show.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
I don't see any votes other than one for Bradish by Narniak here in the live YouTube comment section. By the way, if you're new here watching, listening for the first time, like, subscribe, leave a comment. We're available wherever you get your podcasts for free. It's Basallo again. I think it is. I'm going to tell you though that had this game been buttoned up in the ninth, Bradish would have been an easy dead ringer for a player of the game. And Jeremiah Jackson is the gift that keeps on giving. Hot take here. 2 hot takes in this block. Jeremiah Jackson needs to be in the lineup every day next season. Pretty much every day. Let's say 6 out of 7 days in the week. And as the old adage goes, if you can hit, they will find a spot for you. I think the comp that we should be making for Jeremiah Jackson, 25 years old and just sliding into his major league career flawlessly and agreeably, is one of Mark DeRosa. You remember DeRosa with the Braves and later the Cubs and kind of flagellated around with the Guardians, then the Indians and the Cardinals for a brief spell. Guy who could hit for average at an all-star clip, occasional pop, but had the versatility to play many different positions. Corner, outfield, third, shortstop, second, a hint of first if you really needed someone to be a stopgap there. And that is what Jeremiah Jackson is. A guy who's learning to play outfield on the fly and looking good at it, by the way. The way he's been able to get a good jump step, to find routes to ball, to beat the balls to where they are. He looked like Heston Kjerstad in his first game, and he looks a lot better. A lot better. And he's picking up the offense tonight before Basallo hits the walk-off home run, the walk-off base hit, in a game where his teammates strike out 12 times, and he actually contributes one of those. We'll go bottom 6. It's a tie game, 1-1. First pitch against the right-hander on in relief for the Pirates, one Braxton Ashcraft. First pitch, four-seam fastball high. 97 miles an hour. Doesn't think twice. Lets the ball travel, lets it get deep, hits it opposite field, more than 360 feet, into the flag court. His 5th home run of the season makes it a 2-1 ball game. There's some horse sense to this guy, like some instinct. His first couple of games, he was putting bat to ball, was hitting the ball hard, then decided to move back in the box a little bit more off the plate, started to tinker around with his stance and his attack of the ball. And he looks good. We're 127 plate appearances into this puppy. in his major league career. 38 hits in 33 games, 5 home runs, OPS to the tune of 867. Very good. And a 314 batting average. I saw a comment here as the game was going on about, if Jeremiah Jackson played every day over Jordan Westburg, like you'd be a 25 home run threat. Let's not go there. The transitive property does not exist in baseball. You cannot just extrapolate numbers and multiply them by 3 or 4 and expect to get the same player over time. It's just not how strikeout rates and walk rates work. It's not how the trajectory of a season goes. What I can tell you is that Jeremiah Jackson looks the part. He looks stronger now than he did on August 1st. He looks stronger. He looks like he's got more of a command and more comfortability in the game. And the ovation when he was lifted got hit on his elbow on the funny bone and was lifted for Daniel Johnson as a pinch runner. And the crowd just loves him. If you can hit in this town, you will be adored. Adored. You know who's not adored? Yennier Cano. Right-hander, tasked with being a stopgap closer before this season comes to an agreeable end. And got to tell you, a thought crushed my mind. Crushed my mind. You got to nuke the bullpen. You have been operating a patchwork bullpen even since before the trade deadline. You knew Felix Bautista was going to probably miss most of next year with the shoulder surgery. So you don't have a closer. Sir Anthony Dominguez is gone. He's a free agent. Don't bring him back. Brian Baker is gone to the Rays. He's doing worse as a Ray than he was an Oriole. So take that with a grain of salt, and he's not coming back. Um, uh, Whoever ends this season hot, Dietrich ends tonight in extra innings was absolute nails. He is looking the part. 2 scoreless innings and the win. He's been a revelation, and also a guy who brings what I think is imperative for the future of this bullpen, and that is length. He is not just a 3 outs and sit down and get your paycheck type of guy. Pitching to a 3.10 ERA over 20 and a third innings. Now, that's a decent enough sample size out of the bullpen for Dietrich. He can open, he apparently can close, can be a setup man. It hasn't been all perfect. Grant Wolfram, 1 earned run in his past 11 and a third innings. It's like 0.76. He looks the part. Maybe keep him. Rico Garcia, Cade Stroud. So what we got? 4 guys. And between Keegan Aiken and Yennier Cano, buck stops here. It's 11 blown saves between them this year and 19 total for the club. Granted, not all these blown saves turned into losses. We saw, for example, Yarmil Geraldo falling off a cliff there in Boston. That blown save eventually turned into a win. Let's say, for the sake of argument, though, that the O's get 10 wins out of those 19 blown saves this year, including the ones that they already have. Or actually, no, in addition to the ones that they already got from them. What can you do with 10 wins? What does this team look like if the bullpen, buttons up 10 blown saves? They're the Seattle Mariners. They're 2 games up in the wild card right now. If they're kind of trading places, if you will. Just a thought. And if you're asking, well, Keegan's a left-hander, and listen, this season's been unfair to Keegan. He's been asked to do 3 different roles. He's been hurt as well. He's been asked to be an opener. Remember Charlie Morton avalanching or cratering his season early on? He's been a setup man, and he's tried to be a closer, and it hasn't worked. 11 blown saves between those guys. Excuse me, 10. 10 blown saves between them. And if you're asking, well, who takes Keegan Aiken's spot in the bullpen? They have a younger replacement already, and his name is Cade Povich. The O's carry on, and right-hander Tyler Wells will make his 2nd start of the year, projected to. Got a win at San Diego. He's a 1-0 with a 3.60 ERA against Paul Skeens Cannon. Right-hander is 10-9 with a 1.98 ERA and 195 strikeouts. Booyah! That's a 635 first pitch on Masson. The O's are now 23 and 22 in one-run games. I think they got their swagger back. All right, everyone. Got things to do. Got money moves. Final score tonight. The Baltimore Orioles 3, the Pittsburgh Pirates 2 in extras. Good night. Stay safe. I'll see you right back here tomorrow night.